What's up, guys? Gun here. Happy Friday, November 1st, 2019. New month. Make sure you remember to start your months with the 11 ones instead of the 10 ones. See, here we are, and I already messed up. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed your Halloween yesterday. Whether you took the young ones out trick or treating, don't forget to charge the dad or mom tax, man. You gonna get you some of that candy, okay? All right, you made time to take them out. You deserve some of that candy. If you stayed at home last night, I know a lot of us are experiencing much colder weather than maybe we expected this soon. A lot of my friends throughout the country have already told me they've got snowfall or have had snowfall. And down here in Texas, man, we're actually experiencing some freezing temperatures overnight. It got down into the high 20s last night here, so definitely not the temperatures you expect in around here for end of October, beginning of November. I'm hoping we get a little bit more of the 60-degree weather in between now and December. Usually it only gets this bad for a couple weeks throughout, a brutal stretch at the end of January through most of February and stuff like that. But really, really cold. I love the cold, don't get me wrong. It's just unexpected, and I have myself an outdoor gym that have to shut down electronics and stuff out there whenever we expect freezes. So, man, I hope you guys are ready for this weekend. I hope you guys are ready for a nice stretch of NBA basketball. We looked at the upcoming schedule for NBA on the live Twitch stream yesterday. I'll do it again just to kind of explain and give you guys an aesthetic preview. We got 8 games of basketball tonight, and you guys know to start the season, we've had a lot of big slates, 3-game slate, big slate, 3-game slate. Well, it looks like going forward for a nice stretch, that's not going to be the case. I think we got a 4-game slate next Thursday, but just to show you, 8 games tonight. Tomorrow, I guess if we look at main slate, it would be 7-game main slate. On Sunday, I don't usually play Sunday because of NFL, but you guys would have 6 games to play with, and then back on Monday, another 6 gamers. Back on Tuesday, another 6 games. Wednesday, looks like 9 games. Thursday, 4 games. It's smaller, but it's not 3 or less. And then Friday, the big one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games. So you guys see what I'm saying. We don't have another really short slate for quite a while. So buckle up, hunker down. It's a good time to grind out NBA, make some money, man. I'm super stoked for a week like this. We're not going to do awards from last night. We're just going to jump into it. What we're going to do here is a quick preview of today's slate. Spitball some ideas, some names that are sticking out this early. And then, of course, as we should expect throughout the day, news, notes, injuries, rest information might be leaking and bleeding and dropping. So we will revisit this afternoon over on Twitch. So if you guys are stumbling across this video on YouTube, please come be part of our Twitch family. We are a little over a week into moving our live streams to Twitch, and it has been so much fun. We've had great success. A lot of you guys come over to follow. A lot of you guys subscribing to that channel with your free Twitch Prime subscriptions. And as I told you guys, as you guys grow it, I'm going to grow it on my end and do more and more stuff on the back end. And that is certainly something I believe that you guys that have been over there can attest to, between, music, polls, different graphical aesthetic features. And then, of course, I'm having some new emotes created, and then they got appended for approval through Twitch. So right now the main emote we got over there is the ear emote. If you guys are new to Twitch or you haven't been over to Twitch, just sign up, man. It takes a minute. Get yourself an account. You can link your Amazon Prime, and you'll get a free sub token every month to support your favorite streamer. Basically, Amazon pays someone like me or somebody else that you might want to support, and it costs nothing to you if you are already an Amazon Prime subscriber, like most people in 2019. But be over there today at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Myself, probably Raj, we will chop up this 8-game slate, have some fun. It's a pretty colorful DFS show, I think. We kind of mix facts and fun debates and narrative. We just have fun with it, man. So I appreciate the community that we're building over there, and I definitely want to keep building. I'm waiting for the first stream where we have 100 concurrent viewers because I'm trying to get back to where we were on this channel on YouTube, where we would have a couple hundred, 200-300 live viewers. And I understand it's going to take some time to get those type of numbers over there, but I got time today. So come be part of it. 3 p.m. Eastern. If you go make your Twitch account now and follow that channel, whatever you consume Twitch on, whether it be a mobile device, you can download the Twitch app, or on your desktop, you'll get a notification when we go live. So looking to see you there. Today, after the Twitch stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, and you guys can be part of that too. Within a RunDFS.com VIP subscription words at RunDFS.com. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later in this video. But first, let's get cranked up, man. Let's get started. 8 games tonight. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Plenty of contests out there. Both sides, go out there and make a little bit of money. Game number 1 tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers at the Indiana Pacers. Project starting 5. Right, we don't have to do that here. 212.5 total here. 7.5 point spread in favor of the home team Pacers. So the first couple names that are going to stand out from this game are going to be names that have been standing out for each team in the first week of the season. First of all, on the Cavs side, Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. Kevin Love might be a dark horse, and that's NFL, might be a dark horse for the rebound title this year. He is absolutely looking like old school prime Kevin Love. I hope, and I don't want to jinx it, but I hope he stays healthy. He's 9.3K today on DraftKings. Check out this game log, man. 20 rebounds against Chicago, 16, 13, 18. My man's hustling. Double-digit shot attempts in his last 2 games. The 3-point shots haven't been as wild. If you are looking at the shot attempt trends, you might be surprised to find that Tristan Thompson's taking way more shots than we've ever been accustomed to. But in the meantime, Kevin Love is filling up the stat sheet with peripherals, especially rebounds. And I think it's only a matter of time before they catch a tougher game, a tougher opponent where Kevin Love's going to keep having to take double-digit shot attempts and shoot a couple more threes. So 9,300 doesn't feel great because, on an 8-game slate, you probably need that 50 bomb. And we're going to talk about a couple of massive totals on this slate. But Kevin Love certainly is somebody that you should keep an eye on, and probably somebody you should consider tonight if you're a multi-entry tournament player. Kevin Love, by the way, in this matchup against the Indiana Pacers, is preceded by a couple of guys that actually experienced quite a bit of success, but most notably himself. Kevin Love played the Pacers front court in the second game of the season, 55.75 fantasy points, 20-plus real points, 13 rebounds. The Indiana Pacers look like they're going to be without Miles Turner. So their front court gets a little bit smaller, and this might see the Pacers do something like maybe stretch TJ Warren out to the 4 or what have you. So we'll be keeping an eye on how the Pacers play that. Tristan Thompson, the other name I want to talk about before we move on and discuss some of these Pacer players. 6,800 for Tristan Thompson does not feel right, but man, 30-plus minutes for the Cavs every game, 33-plus minutes in every game thus far. Shot attempts are wild, and he's going to take very high percentage shot attempts. Has taken 2 threes on the season, shooting 50%, by the way. So this man could be seeing 18 to 20 points in the paint attempts, shot in the paint attempts with high minutes, and he's likely going to get you double-digit rebounds. Against the Pacers, he dropped 49. He has played 3 games straight of 40-plus fantasy points. If you take the name off here, if you're a veteran player, played the last couple seasons, if you're just not looking at Tristan Thompson's name and you're looking at these minutes, you're looking at these shot attempts, you're looking at these peripherals, even the 5 blocks against Chicago, you're probably thinking to yourself, 6,800 seems a little light, especially in a matchup that he's already performed extremely well in, and that matchup potentially gets a little softer with Miles Turner out. So Tristan Thompson's absolutely in play for me today, and it's a name I'm going to pencil down. And when we circle the wagons back later this afternoon, we'll either write some ink over the pencil or we'll erase it, right? Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon's 8,800. We did it. Reddit. Point guard, shooting guard eligible. We have seen his price begin at 6,500, and now we are flirting with the 9K area. This is kind of closer on a bigger slate to where we need 50-plus fantasy points. He did achieve that in the game against the Cavs a couple games back. However, his performance now is more so a necessity at this price point, rather than us being able to attack somebody who's egregiously underpriced. And that's going to be a trend going forward here. DraftKings algorithm, FanDuel algorithm are going to start spotting who the players are from each team, and we're going to start seeing some price increases. Maybe that's going to neutralize these insane cash lines. We're always going to have 400 point to first on big slates, but the cash line might get a little bit more chopped down because some of these freebies become a little bit more, hey, is this really worth it? Well, I think 8,800 for Brogdon is still completely appropriate. I do think this game, just on the surface here at 8,800, Brogdon is going to compete with some other 9K area guards, at least guards if we're just looking at guards. Luka Doncic is about 1,000 more. Kyrie is $200 more, and he is in one of the most insane totals I've ever seen for a regular season game. D'Angelo Russell is leading the charge for the Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry at 100 more. He'll likely be a little trendy. Kemba, a couple $100 less against the New York Knicks team that he just dropped, 50 on the other day? Yeah, 51. So I think there's still a tournament merit into thinking that Brogdon can still be a 50-plus point contributor. But it certainly would say that in a short list, he's got some pretty stiff competition around him, and his newfound price is a massive increase. You don't usually see a $1,400 increase in price from one slate to the next on somebody that's already 7K. So they really raised the bar on Malcolm Brogdon. Domantas Sabonis here, he's going to also experience a massive price bump. He went from 7,900 to 8,700. That's an $800 increase in price. He now looks like already penciled in for 36 plus minutes. With Miles Turner down, I can't see him getting less minutes, and he might have to play some more 5, which could heighten his rebound potential. 8, 14, 5, and 13 rebounds this season. His lowest rebounds came against the Cavs, who so far are looking like a pretty elite front court in terms of rebounding. Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson might combine for 30-plus rebounds a game or more every game going forward, right? Or maybe not every game, but you get what I'm saying. So Sabonis is 8,700. He's another guy that certainly can get us 50 in this spot, but he's at a price point where we're going to need that. So it's going to come down to, do you really want to spend that money on him on a slate that's going to offer some really intriguing options elsewhere in that price range, or even that's just valuable top-end money that you want to put into players. Jeremy Lamb, 5,600 for him. A lot of people thought he couldn't coexist with Malcolm Brogdon for no reason and no reason at all. We have seen double-digit shot attempts from him in both of his games thus far. Against Brooklyn, he did play 34 minutes. He put up 7 rebounds, a steal. I think he's going to be a little bit more scoring dependent than not, but he's a guy that is not going to go ghost on the peripherals, and I think he's going to be a big part of their scoring approach. He had 25 real points in that game against the Cavs at 5,600. If you think you can sniff the area of 30 fantasy points, I don't mind that. And then if in the absence of Miles Turner, we see TJ Warren stretch out a little bit. I don't hate taking a shot on TJ Warren just as a cheaper a minute guy here, but I am not super encouraged by his rebounding and his peripherals being as low as they are. He does have 8 steals in his last 2 games, and if they move him to the 4, maybe a couple more rebounds, but I think I'm a little bit worried about maybe some fouls and lack of peripherals, but the minutes will be there. 34, 38, 37 minutes in his last 3 games. If we take a peek at the depth chart for the Indiana Pacers, I'm trying to think how else could they piece together this front court other than to move Warren to the 4, kind of like what we saw Phoenix do, just to see if there's any other surprises that you know what I'm saying could escalate later today. Indiana depth chart. So they do have TJ Leaf. They have Doug McDermott. Goga. Seems like the logical thing for them to do is to move Sabonis to the 5, start Warren at the 4, and then either they have a lot of guards that they can, I don't say a lot, but they do have some wings and guards that they can make stuff happen. So if Warren did move to the 4, you might see Justin Holiday at 3,300 getting a bigger minutes bump, 24, 23, 24 minutes his last couple games. A couple of those games came without Jeremy Lamb, and now we might still see minutes there for him here. Has been not terrible at his price point here. If we think this 24 minutes has a shot of becoming 30-plus minutes, he can certainly be a 25 fantasy point contributor. Again, I do want to stress that the Cavs are not going to be a fast-paced matchup, and there's going to be several other matchups that profile juicier than this one. But, my job is to explore each game, so that's what I'm doing. Doug McDermott, 32 minutes against the Brooklyn Nets, 12 fantasy points. Not likely to win you many tournaments with that. We'll talk more about that in this afternoon stream on twitch.tv/Gundacker99. Link will be in the description below and the pinned comment too. Brooklyn Nets hosting the Houston Rockets. Guys, I feel like I could have started this video and talked only about this game and then ended the video. 242 is our OU here. 4-point spread favor the visiting Houston Rockets. Rockets are coming off one of the most insane NBA regulation games that we may ever see in our lifetime, unless the new NBA really gets like that. I'll pull up this Wikipedia page, show you guys what I'm looking at, right? We can look at the highest scoring regular season games of all time. Number 1, Pistons Nuggets, 186-184, 3 overtimes. The San Diego Conquistadors at the New York Nets in 1975, 4 overtimes. San Antonio Spurs at the Milwaukee Bucks, 1982, 3 overtimes. Bulls at the Hawks in 2019, 168-161, 4 overtimes. Washington Capitals at Warriors at the Nuggets, 1990. We keep it going. One of the most common trends here is overtimes. There's only a few games here without overtimes. Golden State Warriors at the Denver Nuggets, 162-158, November 2nd, 1990. The Nuggets at the Spurs in 1984, 163-155. Those are the top 2 highest scoring games without overtime. Number 3, the Houston Rockets at the Washington Wizards, 159-158, October 30th, 2019. We literally saw a generational game between the Rockets and the Wizards that put up over 300 real points, and because of that, people in Vegas are going to set lines really doggone high as they encore against the Brooklyn Nets. And if we go to the team stats tab in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet and go to the points per game allowed tab, the Houston Rockets 127 points per game allowed. The Brooklyn Nets 122 points per game allowed. It's a lot of points. Very two offensive-minded teams going at it here. And likely one of the highest totals we will see all season unless the Rockets run back into a game with like the Wizards or some other crazy high scoring team. So we want to start a lot of our research with this game. And if we can go throw a net over all the high usage, high minute guys, we bring them back, and they are all each playable. We saw some incredible scoring from a fantasy perspective from a lot of people in that Wizards game. And we'll start with Russell Westbrook, James Harden, man. Westbrook was a slow burner, but he got there. My man's averaging a triple-double to start the season. 16, 17 shot attempts a game. Pretty simple stuff there. Chucking some threes, but he's not taking 20 to 30 shots a game. And the shots that he is taking, pretty efficient. Shooting 40+%, sometimes 50+% from the field. Quickly extinguishing this narrative that he is a guy who takes very poor shots, and he's definitely creating opportunities for his teammates, and he's getting double-digit rebounds and high assists, and he's doing a little bit of everything. 56 and 50, maybe not something that you have to run home, call mom, tell her about at 9,800, but he's still under 10K, and so far he's still giving us a 50-plus point floor, and I absolutely will have Russell Westbrook in my player pool. And so far, I've continued my strategy with Westbrook and Harden of stuff I was doing with Westbrook and Paul George, Westbrook and Kevin Durant. You put him and his 2 together, and in this case, you put his 1 and him as the number 2 together, and you're going to start your lineups with 100-plus points more times than you don't. And James Harden's 11K today. Shocker that he's not shooting 15 and 20%. In the last couple games, he's finding his shot, and he's taking a lot of them. 11K for him. You put him and Westbrook together, let's just call it what it is, $21,000. Is that worth it on an 8-game slate to go out there and start your lineups with this total with potentially 120 fantasy points? And I think that's a fair, put those two together. You just start with 120. If you think 300 points cashes you tonight, and you could 2 players get you to 120 right off the bat, I don't mind starting with those 2. I'll keep starting with those 2. I've been playing them all along. I will absolutely concede that their price points, they may not be the safest high ceiling plays. Well, no, that's not stupid. They're definitely the high ceiling. They might not be the safest floor plays versus the field, right? Like if Westbrook got you 50 at 9,800, there's definitely a range of outcomes where another 9K guy drops you 55 to 60, and maybe he jumps a Westbrook line or 2. But in terms of cash, single entry, and small field stuff like that, absolutely give me Westbrook Harden. Clint Capella floats to my interest list here, 7,400 for him. I think we have to pace ourselves with the Rockets before we go too crazy here, right? Because the Rockets probably are not going to score 150, 140 points a game. And even in this total, we might see a lot of sharp start betting under just because of how crazy this total is. A lot has to happen for the Rockets to score under 60 points in a game. And a lot of what we saw last game, it's not going to be an everyday thing here. But I do think Clint Capella is someone I can justify to put in my player pool because regardless of what your game script is, there's going to be a ton of shot attempts. And Clint Capella, who maybe doesn't get me 20 rebounds like maybe he could back in the day, can still get me 10-10. Maybe a 20-10. He's still taking almost double-digit shot attempts. We know Harden and Westbrook can feed their big men, and he's going to have enough peripherals to boot. The matchup here versus the Brooklyn Nets has been great. Miles Turner went down in that last game, got injured. It happens. Jay Val just dropped 44 in 20 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 24 in 17 minutes. And Cat, he went for a 70 bomb. I'm looking for 40-plus here from Capella. I don't mind putting him in my pool. And then you could take some shots on some peripheral plays. PJ Gordon, PJ Tucker, and then Eric Gordon, who is 4K, probably was the biggest upset from that Washington game because he was so high owned. He was 3,900. He's only up 100 points here. He still hasn't hit big for being a great fantasy play. But I don't mind, in 150 lineups, if I'm playing big field tournaments, This is still a high volume shot attempt guy at a easy to get to price. He's not going to give you much in the way of peripherals. He's just going to be out there to take 3-point shots while Harden and Westbrook kind of create his shot, right? Draw his defender off of him and then find him, pass him the rock, and he chucks a three. 13 3-point attempts against Washington, 7, 9, 12. So one of these days, he's going to catch fire, and he's going to shoot more than 14%. He might hit 5, 6 threes, and he's going to be an extremely scoring dependent play, but at this price point, it's going to come, and it's going to hit. The Brooklyn Nets have allowed one of the highest 3-point percentages in the league right now. I got them at 43%. Obviously, I don't think that, in a long season is probably not what we expect, but that's got to be tops in the league. Yep, 43%. The worst 3-point defense so far in basketball. So there's going to come a time where Eric Gordon's going to hit some of these threes, and I think I keep playing him in large field tournaments until further notice. Single entry, maybe you don't have to push the issue with him, but I don't mind that. Same song and dance on PJ Tucker. I think his price under $5K gives him wiggle room to go get you 30 fantasy points. He's going to chuck threes. On the net side, Kyrie Irving, 9K, man. I can't argue against it. I just can't. Bradley Beal dropped a 70 bomb. And if we're going to see the Nets compete in this game, we're going to see the Nets come close to this total that they currently have. Kyrie Irving's going to take 20, 30 shot attempts. And it is what it is. I will pay $9K for that. He has had 50-plus fantasy points in 3 of his 4 games thus far. The one that he did not was against the New York Knicks. It was his lowest rebound game. So far, he's gotten 7-plus rebounds in each game thus far. This is a huge spot for Kyrie. And $9K probably too cheap. And I'm rarely a Kyrie guy for fantasy, or I have been in years past. But this is a super smash spot for Kyrie. And the Brooklyn Nets live up to their implied total. Kyrie should easily smash this price point and be one of the best tournament ceiling plays on the slate. But I gotta believe a lot of other people believe that too. So I don't think he's gonna become low or anything like that. Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Tarin Prince, all these guys in play. If you look off the bench, maybe Spencer Dinwiddie. I usually don't get crazy with targeting guys in Kenny Atkinson's rotation, but the total is the total. The pace is the pace. Both defenses are really, really bad. I have a suspicion that this total might be a little too aggressive, but nonetheless, our process is to honor what Vegas projects, and then we'll see if the line is moving up or down as the day progresses. But give me all the shot chuckers here. I think the Nets are all individually a little too cheap, and Karis LeVert is not someone I would target on a day-to-day standpoint right now with a full healthy bench and with Kenny Atkinson as the coach. But we'll probably get 30 minutes out of him, and we'll probably get nearly 20 shot attempts, and he's going to chuck some threes if he has to as well. We have seen 40 and 36 in 2 of his 4 games thus far. The 40 is what we're looking for, and it certainly seems like this is a matchup that could bring that out of him. And then I have less confidence on Tarin Prince. Joe Harris is intriguing to me as one of the highest efficient 3-point shooters in the league for the same reasons I liked Davis Bertans off the bench for the Wizards the other night. You can make the case for Joe Harris as well. I don't know that there's a whole lot of wiggle room on that price because I don't know how much more he does in lieu of peripherals, only averaging 1.3 assists per game, steals, rebounds. It's all going to be points. So if LeVert's going to pay off this price point, if Joe Harris is going to pay off this price point, he's probably going to need 30 fantasy points at least, and you might need 25 real points to knock on that door. He's basically J.J. Redick to me right now, but this is a fine matchup to target. That's going to be the game of the day. I think you'll see the field kind of rise or fall based on how this game actually rolls out. Seems super trolly to me, but I'm going for it. Bucks at the Magic. Next game on the docket. Magic at home. Bucks are a 4.5-point favorite. 215 total. Mo Bamba has been ruled out for this one. Looks like he's going to be on a rest plan that keeps him out of back-to-back games, and looks like they're going to shut him down for this game. When I saw Mo Bamba was out, I definitely wanted to see how much Nikola Vucevic was because he did just have a pretty strong game against the New York Knicks, 49 and a quarter with a 21-13 double-double. Figure with Mo Bamba out, there's a good chance he gets 35 minutes. And I thought this pace could create a great opportunity for him to be a fantastic play, but he is 9K. I mean, DraftKings really flipping a switch on some of these guys and tightening their price points. I don't think he should be 9K. Like, I love Vucevic, and you guys remember Vucevic versus the Hawks. I was all over some Vucevic. I'm a big-time fan. But 9K? Has he really been blowing this price point out the water? Is this matchup really something the algorithm has identified as a great spot? I don't think it's that great. So 9K kind of gives me off of Vucevic as much as I hate. Like, I wanted to have some shares. I don't know that there's a whole lot of meat left on the bone when 9K is Kyrie Irving price, right? So, unfortunately, I might be a low man on Vooch tonight. Who I do have some interest in is Aaron Gordon. It doesn't feel nice. Doesn't feel comfortable, but I like Aaron Gordon and pay some spots. We go to the team stats tab in the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. The Milwaukee Bucks currently average 109 possessions per game. Last season, they were one of the fastest-paced teams in basketball. It's looking like that trend is continuing this season. And the Orlando Magic are going to be one of the slowest-paced teams in the league, and they are second slowest this season. And that was something that we saw last year as well. But whenever this team caught a team like the Bucks that would run the pace up a little bit, I was always interested in Aaron Gordon. I think so far we haven't seen much from him, and because of that, his price has suffered to 5,800. Last game against New York, 37 fantasy points, 18, 26, 22 to start the season. I think double-digit shot attempts is a realistic range of outcome here. I really do. And if we go to StatMuse, hopefully we can maybe get a little Aaron Gordon DKP by game log. How about most? How could we word this that StatMuse would understand? DKP by game log versus teams with over 105 pace, maybe? Is 105 a good starting point? And will they even understand that question? Maybe 108 should be where we went. Yeah, he doesn't understand it anyway. I can only answer questions about pace for teams. All right, cool. Aaron Gordon, most DKP by game log, last 50 games. I would just go most DKP by game log. So let's go last season. I don't need his whole career. So last season, he had a bunch of games over 40 fantasy points, and I would definitely start a guy at under 6K if I had a hankering that they can give me 40-plus fantasy points today. But is there any really deep connections we can make here? NBA 2018 pace. If we're looking at the top here, the Pacers in 38 minutes. I'm wondering what that was about. It looks like potentially overtime or something like that. I'm trying to pull up Hollinger stats from last season. Here we go. And basically what I want to look for is who were the fastest paced teams last year and putting Aaron Gordon in some of these matchups. How did he perform? Basically, has he faced Milwaukee last year? Milwaukee's not one of these teams. But Golden State is 48 against Golden State, 48 essentially against Washington. Washington was 9th fastest. Golden State was 11th fastest. NBA fast break point leaders 20. Let's go 2018. I'm really trying to sell myself on Aaron Gordon if you guys can't tell. And I definitely targeted Aaron Gordon last year in what seemed to be like fast-paced stuff because I felt like he excelled in fast break points. I tell you what, I don't want to stall too much in this video. Remind me later in the Twitch stream. I'll remind myself, but in the Twitch stream, we'll get to the bottom of this because I think at 58, I want to play Aaron Gordon. I just do. I think there's going to be more possessions here. It's going to be more scoring. No Mo Bamba. Maybe a few more minutes for both Gordon and Vooch here. I think there's a great chance that Gordon might be a surprise play at 58 on DraftKings. Not a front end top of a single entry or tier 1 player pool guy, but I really want to sell myself on Gordon at 58. Evan Fournier is an interesting play, almost 18 points per game thus far. I think Aaron Gordon's right now the only guy I'm really interested in from the Magic. I wish Vooch was a little bit cheaper. And then of course Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy that certainly target for the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis might get extremely low ownership as one of the highest priced guys. I think he's the highest priced guy in the slate today. No, second highest. Okay. So $100 more people are going to play James Harden over him. And if he takes some savings, people are going to go elsewhere. Kyrie, Westbrook, stuff like that. Last couple games for him, 53, 41, and a pair of 70s against fast-paced bad, I don't want to say bad defense on Miami, but fast-paced teams. And the last two games a little bit more neutral. So we know Orlando is a bottom 2 team in pace right now. They're definitely going to finish bottom 5 at this rate, like they did last season. And Boston and Cleveland a little bit slower. So I think it stands to reason that we can easily justify not prioritizing Giannis over the other two. But in tournaments, there's leverage to be had in playing a little bit of Giannis Antetokounmpo and in 150 lines. You don't have to play much to be over the field, I think, today. Knicks at the Celtics. Next game on the docket. 214 total. 10.5 point spread favor the home team, Boston Celtics. So here's a game we did see last week as well. We're seeing a lot of run-it-backs today from games that we saw in the first 4. Kemba Walker had himself a 50. Matter of fact, I'll just pull up that whole game via the DK Live app, so I don't have to repeat myself from every game, right? Or everybody who scored what, right? So that was on 10/26. Pull up the 26th. We'll pull up the Boston game. In that Boston game, on the Celtics side, Kemba 30 minutes, 51 fantasy points. Jason Tatum 34 minutes, 36 and a quarter. 28 minutes for Marcus Smart, 32 fantasy points. 27 minutes for Jaylen Brown, 30 fantasy points. This game was also, I believe, night 2 of a back-to-back. I think. And it was kind of a blowout. You see all the starters were plus 15, plus 20. If this game plays a little bit more neutral, I think you get a little bit more juice out of Jason Tatum. He was dealing with an illness. He missed that last game. Marcus Smart, not Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. He did miss that last game with an illness, and Marcus Smart started in his place. And then Jason Tatum's another guy I don't mind targeting because of minutes. Tatum is 7K on the dot here. Jaylen Brown 56, Gordon Hayward 6-1. All these guys are going to play deep minutes in neutral game scripts, and that is something that I don't think changes anytime soon. I guess make sure that Jaylen Brown plays, but I think that it was just an illness, and he should be over it by now. Hopefully we'll have more clarity on that later today. The injury report that I have on him says nothing. If he can't suit up, then you would expect Marcus Smart to be the starter here. But I got nothing that really says yay or nay on Jaylen Brown. So maybe look out for that. We'll asterisk that and see if we can run back to it later. You already know my my thoughts on Knicks, man. Seems like 1 or 2 Knicks will help you out in tournaments every slate or so, but I got nothing on trying to predict who it is. RJ Barrett, 6-600 for him. The Knicks guard situation has been pretty rocky for the most part. And even more rocky now. Elfrid Payton, strained right hamstring, is already ruled out for this game at the Celtics. Frank Ntilikina, neck soreness, probable. but he will be carrying that tag with him. RJ Barrett is going to start at point for this game. And Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be questionable. No, he's out for this game. Yeah, he's out for this game. Dennis Smith Jr., by the way, I believe lost his stepmother. So hopefully, his family is doing as well as they can. RJ Barrett is definitely a guy you can consider. Wayne Ellington, I think, drew the start last game. He's really cheap for a shot at 20-plus minutes. Randall, Mitchell Robinson, Marcus Morris, you can convince yourself these guys are going to get the minutes and the opportunity. I think I'm going to do everything in my power to not have Knicks in my personal player pool. I just don't like playing them. Frank Ntilikina, I guess for what it's worth against the Orlando Magic, was a fine tournament play. Dropped, no, he wasn't 18. I felt like he did better than he did. I guess so. Maybe I saw him first half cooking and he ended up not cooking. Let me look at that game as a whole. What day was that? The 30th, I believe. I believe in a thing called love. Orlando, Knicks. Randall led the way here. None of the guards did anything. RJ Barrett was kind of trendy that day. 9 real points. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna stop now. I just don't play Knicks. I just don't do it. But all the Celtics are definitely got a case to be made just based on their minutes alone. Let's move on to the next game. Bulls hosting the Detroit Pistons. 216.5 total, 3.5 point spread. Favor of the Chicago Bulls. Bulls really the favorite here? Did I type that right? Let me double check that. Is that really happening? Yeah, Chicago 3 and a hook. Interesting. First of all, I don't have him listed yet. Derrick Rose. I might play him. Are you kidding me? We need a narrative play of the day. It's got to be Derrick Rose, right? We could justify it with a couple things, couple ins and outs. We'll start with Reggie Jackson. Did not travel with the team. He was officially rolled out for Wednesday because he didn't travel, and it seems unlikely that he'll join the team in Chicago. So, should he be out, Derrick Rose looks like the guy. Derrick Rose does have a right hamstring strain listed on his injury report, but he's probable here. Says the Pistons did appear to intentionally foul to get Rose out of Wednesday's game, but he quickly checked back in and he looked fine. Now we know why he briefly exited. He may be more amped to play versus the Bulls, but given his history, his probable tag is at least comforting, right? Derrick Rose, 5,700 for him. He hasn't been playing deep minutes, and coach kind of came out and said that he doesn't think Rose is ready for deep minutes. 26, 27 minutes. Heck, he's played less minutes now with Reggie Jackson out, but he is so efficient in the minutes that he has played. And of course, there's a whole lot of reason for him to want to have a good game out here in Chicago. A lot of narrative there, a lot of MVP memories there. So I'll absolutely be a sucker for the narrative here. Derrick Rose has gotten you 30 in all but one game, and that game came against the Pacers. He still took double-digit shot attempts, just didn't do a whole lot else. So absolutely, I'll bite the bullet here. Andre Drummond at 9,500, definitely a spot where Drummond could have 50-plus fantasy points. He's only a couple hundred more than Vucevic, so I kind of want to lean to him. Went at Toronto, still had a really solid game for tournaments, 54 fantasy points with a 20-20. So he's like, Kevin Love, I'm not finna let you do it, bro. I want this rebounding title. And the Chicago Bulls have been pretty poor at rebounding altogether, with allowing a 31.4% offensive rebound rate. Are you kidding me? Let's put back Central for Drummond, bro. Yikes. That's got to get better. It has to. I don't mind playing some bigs against the Pistons. I do think Drummond's a little soft. Larry Markkinen at 7,500 is intriguing, but none of the Bulls likely to soar to the top of my front-end interest, because I do think we have good player comps at each price point in other games on this slate. We'll talk about them later. But Andre Drummond, Derrick Rose, definitely two plays I'm very interested in early on for the Detroit Pistons. Mavs hosting the Los Angeles Lakers, 216.5 total. A buck and a hook, your spread here in favor of the visiting Lakers. We are still on Rondo watch, and it would be funny if Rondo came back for a little revenge game against Dallas. Let me see if there's an update on him. Rajon Rondo, sore right calf, will not play on the upcoming Lakers 3-game trip. So, it looks like Rondo won't play here. LeBron James at almost 10K will be your guard. Anthony Davis at 10.6K will be your highest scoring fantasy play here. And then Kyle Kuzma, question mark. Expected to be on a 15 to 20 minute limit for this game, so he'll be in the rotation. Obviously, I can't take a shot on that, a 15, 20 minute limit, but it's a welcome sight for Lakers fans to get Kyle Kuzma back in action here. Really, when it comes to the Lakers, give me LeBron, give me AD. Of course, we're prioritizing AD right now over LeBron, but I'll absolutely play them both. Anthony Davis had an incredible game against the Memphis Grizzlies. He does have that shoulder injury, which made him a game-time decision on that last slate, but he ended up playing and it ended up going bonkers. 20 rebounds, 40 real points. Get this, 27 free throw attempts. That's just insane. Bananas, really, bro. Bonkers, even. LeBron James at almost 10K. You know, people are very sour on LeBron right now, and I think on this slate, people just easily gravitate towards Russell Westbrook, James Harden, you know, the other studs of the slate. But LeBron James has been a point per minute, guys. Don't get it twisted. They blew out the Memphis Grizzlies. He still had 37.5 fantasy points. If you think this game stays neutral and competitive, don't have zero LeBron. He's not washed. He's not dust. That's absolutely, like, it's insane that people are saying that. This guy's crushing it this year. He doesn't have to be, you know, put the entire squad on his back, LeBron, but he's not priced to be that. So I'll absolutely have some Braun in my player pool because I think this might be a fun game to target. I think the Mavs are good enough. You know, it's a tight spread. And I don't mind LeBron here. Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, usually the first two names I look at on the Mavs. We talked about DraftKings getting really aggressive with their price points, and no difference here. To $9,700 for Doncic is $100 less than Brody. That's a big price to pay. But hey, 60, 64 fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games at Denver in the altitude against a very tough defensive backcourt, Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. So this matchup definitely a little bit more inviting against the Lakers defense. I say that, but Lakers right now are only giving up 97.5 points per game. I think there's a little bit more fluff than realism there. But I certainly think AD's a great defender. I think JaVale McGee, a good rim protector. LeBron can turn it on when he has to, but KCP, Danny Green, all these guys kind of, you know, scrappy guys. So maybe there is something to this Lakers defense that we're not really running to give them credit for. Anyone else on the Mavs here that I might dabble with? Dwight Powell made his debut against the Nuggets, and Maxi Kleber actually floated to the top as one of the better plays of that slate. So don't mind Porzingis and Doncic, but I think both of them were kind of priced out of forefront consideration. Maybe Porzingis is a little bit more forgiving at 8K, but his matchup isn't fantastic. And Doncic is, he's right there with Westbrook, man. I feel like I'm going Westbrook. Ooh, it is what it is. LBJ AD for sure, though. Jazz at the Sacramento Kings. Next game on the docket, 214 total here. The games are staggered pretty decently, by the way. We got the lock game, 7:30. We got one at 8. And then it goes all the way to 9:30 for that Mavs game, but still not a giant gap. And then 9:30 to 10. Jazz, no big injury news here. Mike Conley finally had a game to not be ashamed of in his last outing against the Clippers. 43.25 fantasy points. Finally started hitting some shots after a horrid, abysmal start to the season from the field. Even went 5 for 8 from downtown. Utah Jazz fans everywhere rejoice, looking to continue that trend going forward. Conley, of course, was somebody we knew wouldn't be held down to those numbers. And Mike Conley has quite the price on him if you want to build off of that start last game. 30-plus fantasy points, kind of the mark I'm looking for at 67, maybe 40-plus, a little bit more of what I'm looking for on a big tournament slate. But I do think it's cheap enough that we got some room for upside, some room for ceiling. Same with Donovan Mitchell. And I think a lot of people don't run to target the Utah Jazz because of some of the other high-scoring games. Utah Jazz, of course, going to be really slow-paced, grinding defense. But some interesting price points here. The Kings side of things, I don't think I land on any Kings today. The Utah Jazz is elite on defense. 92.4 points per game allowed. Still haven't allowed any team to score 100 points, I believe. It's incredible. So I just don't see myself taking shots on this Kings team today to go after that. Maybe Rashawn Holmes is interesting in tournaments, but DraftKings, acting pretty quickly on his price point at 55. 39 and 45 in his last two games with 30 and 35 minutes. I mean, I've always wanted 30-minute Rashawn Holmes. Is this going to be a thing? Is Harry Giles going to be out again? Maybe if you told me if Harry Giles is out, I don't have zero Rashawn Holmes. But like I said, it's not the best matchup in the world. Charlotte's definitely a cake matchup. And then Denver, he did his thing against Denver. So I don't mind Rashawn Holmes as a late tournament flyer. But I would definitely taper my expectations with him and taper my ownership with him. Kings in a tough spot here. By the way, the Kings have averaged under 100 points per game. So for them going against a defense that's allowing 92.4 points per game, you might get a fun over-under on their team total if you guys are into sports betting. You might give it a shot, right? One game left on the docket to talk about. One more reminder, two reminders. I got two things to plug real quick. 3 p.m. Eastern today, twitch.tv/GunDacker99. Come be part of the live stream. Jump in the live chat. Have some fun with us. I'm going to have a Black Cherry Vanilla Bang waiting on me for that one. And then if you guys want to keep it going or have a 24/7 DFS chat community to interact with that are really, really, really sharp players, be sure to go to rundfs.com. Make yourself an account and consider getting a VIP pass. We have week passes, 2-week passes, month passes, and that'll get you locked into the 24/7 Discord, which is an incredible resource that we use all day long, all day strong. A little screenshot of it. We have NBA chats. We got the spreadsheet links. We got football. Interesting showdown slate last night, and then of course. Every day before lock, after I'm off the air on Twitch, the 2 hours before lock, before NBA every day, I'm in the rundfs.com voice chat in the Discord, and you guys can listen in on that. This is only for the Vipers, and you guys can grab a mic and chop it up with us. So I definitely encourage you guys to do that. And then, of course, in addition to the Discord access, you get access to the rundfs.com VIP spreadsheets. That'll get you access to the different tabs, the research tabs, my personal player pool, optimal lines, the team stats tabs, the expedite research processes, DVP, all of that good stuff. And it's just been such a great community that we've built over there, and so many new subscribers coming in this season, but a lot of you guys coming back from years of subscriptions, and that tells me a lot about potentially the quality of what we have there. So come be part of that family, man. I get it; it's a little bit more pricey than a lot, but I think it's worth it. And like I said, how many cats are hanging out with you in voice every day? I do it, bro. I do it for the people. I did it for the Rock. Spurs, 9-2 of a back-to-back at the Golden State Warriors. This is a weird one. It's a weird one. 225 total. This is I feel like I'm looking at a trap and I'm walking right into it, bro. What is going on here? First of all, San Antonio Spurs played last night. Played the Clippers. Played Kawhi. Maybe a little bit emotionally exhausting. They played DeJounte Murray last night to rest him tonight. And now they're facing the Golden State Warriors, which is not a great team. They were not a great team a week ago, and they're an even worse team now. Potentially historically bad now. This is essentially the Miami Dolphins of the NBA right now. Points per game allowed, they're third in the league. Defensive efficiency, 115.1 points per 100 possessions allowed. A 58.6% success rate from two. It's actually crazy how bad this team is. And here we have the San Antonio Spurs. So while we do know that DeJounte Murray is out, we also know that the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, good friends with Steve Kerr, is Greg Popovich. And Greg Popovich has quite the history of resting guys on leg two of a back-to-back. And while I want to play DeRozan and Aldridge, shots on them in tournaments, because last night both those guys were 50% owned. I don't know why, but they were. And they busted, and they let a lot of people down. And I feel like this is the ultimate turnaround return spot. To see the field burn their hands on the stove yesterday with those guys who were bad plays yesterday, but are probably really good plays now without DeJounte Murray against this defense. If we can get past Popovich resting these guys, 7,200 for DeRozan, 71 for LMA, I'll take some shots. But I might have to do it on DraftKings only. And I don't feel strongly about having to late swap to anyone else at the 7K area, because it's really not past the 8 o'clock game. So I think there's a little bit more risk in this game than normal, at least in my head, just based on Popovich being the coach. But it'd be real nice if Greg Popovich held a press conference this morning after shooting around and it was like, hey, I'm playing these guys. We're definitely not resting them. We're definitely not resting our DeMar DeRozans and LaMarcus Aldridge, and I'm definitely going to play them full minutes. You know what I'm saying? Make me feel good, Pop. Golden State Warriors side of things, D'Angelo Russell's $8,900. He's gonna have to do quite a bit of basketball things to lead this Warriors team to mediocrity, right? Like it's rough. But with Steph Curry out, he's gonna be the guy. He's gonna take 20 shot attempts likely. And he's been filling the stat sheet otherwise too. 7 boards, 6 assists. 30, 40 fantasy points this last 2 games. I'll tell you what the knock is on D-Russ. Love you, deloading, but you're $100 less than Kyrie Irving today. There's no way. There's no way in any range of outcomes that I go a high percentage of D-Russ when Kyrie is right above it. Like I want to not have none, but man, he's got some stout competition in that area, and he's on a team that has been so poorly underperforming that it's almost depressing. Same with Draymond Green, man. 7,700 for him. Is this team gonna get back right and go out there and fight games? I don't know. Is this team gonna start kind of saying, all right, maybe this season's a loss, and a guy like Draymond, somebody that we don't want to risk getting injured, so we don't need him to play 38 minutes a game and fight for nothing? Maybe. They have quite a bit of basketball players on this team. It's a who's who of who's that. If we look back at that Golden State game against Phoenix, look at how long this list of players that got some minutes is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 man rotation there. The names that we've kind of seen get some run and not be the worst plays ever: Eric Pascal, Glenn Robinson III. We know him as an NBA player. And then Willie Cauley-Stein becomes super interesting if we can start putting some minutes on him. My man dropped 20-plus fantasy points in 12 minutes. We know they're probably going to ramp him up slowly. Willie Cauley-Stein was one of my favorite plays in Sacramento. He's a super talented player. As he gets more minutes, I will have more interest in him. I'm just hoping his price kind of doesn't skyrocket before that happens. So on the Golden State side, I might cherry pick Golden State for some value plays. I do think I feel like we're guessing for the most part, but I think Pascal kind of. Oh my God, he's 4,700. What are we doing? All right, well maybe I'm not that. Glenn Robinson's 4K still. I might be able to play some Robinson here. I don't know, man. Warriors are a mess. You guys let me know what you're doing with the Warriors. And then let me know what you're doing with the San Antonio Spurs, man. Am I the only one like seeing ghost here on not trusting Popovich here? I feel so indifferent there. I would definitely say that looking at the Spurs roster, I know they announced DeJounte Murray out yesterday, and they've got a specific rest plan for him. But I would also be looking at veterans like Patty Mills, Marco Bellinelli, maybe Rudy Gay, who's had a little bit of a weird history with injuries. Like maybe those guys get a little less work. Derek White's probably going to be a super solid play all the way around at 5,200 on DraftKings. Likely benefit the main beneficiary of DeJounte Murray being out. 25, 26 minutes his last two games. He's gotten us 30-plus fantasy points. I believe, it seems to me like he would be somewhat game script proof for this one, no matter how it turned out. And we'll probably get a good bit of minutes. And then if you kind of projected this game to be a blowout or what have you, Bryn Forbes might float to the top of a couple value charts. I don't mind him. Certainly don't mind him at 44. 9 against the Clippers. Tough matchup. 23, 26, 29. So if you really want some late night hammers, but you didn't trust Aldridge or somebody like that, you might have a couple of easier late swap options at the 5 and 4K range to get away with. So that's our first look at today's NBA slate for FanDuel and DraftKings. Remember to circle back this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, over there on twitch.tv/Gundacker99, and we will dive a whole lot deeper. We'll have projected bench. We'll have more news and information from shoot arounds and stuff like that. And then, of course, we'll have you guys in the live chat to interact with all day. So I will catch you then. I'll see you in the next YouTube video. If you like the content, you're not a subscriber, hey, do me a favor, hit that red button. It says subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted when new content goes up, and definitely get over on Twitch and have some fun with us over there. I'm out for now. I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday. I love each and every one of you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.